Hey guys, so today we're going to make a pair of wire wrapped earrings using 6mm beads. I don't currently have an example right at this moment to show you, but you will definitely be seeing the end result. If you're new to my channel, my name is Bailey and I've been wire wrapping for about 10 years now. And I really hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. So you're going to need 20 gauge wire. You're going to need a pair of ear wires, flush cutters, tweezer nose or chain nose pliers. You can use round nose pliers or the 6-step looping pliers. And these are Nylon Tip straightening pliers. These are amazing. I highly recommend them. I do want to add, I am selling basic wire wrapping tools on my website. It's a brand new set. So you can get these on my website. I will put the link for this in the description down below if you want to get a set of basic wire wrapping pliers. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. You'll also need a ruler. So first, we're gonna cut one 6-inch, actually cut two. You're gonna cut two 6-inch pieces of wire of your 20 gauge. So we've got one. And it's plenty of wire. I always teach with having more wire than we actually need because it's just so much better that way. So I have my two pieces of 20 gauge wire there. And then we're going to cut two more pieces at about 10 inches long. So that's 6, and this is about 10. I'm gonna go ahead and cut another piece. So this design I figured out on my own during one of the classes I was teaching at my work. We were kind of just playing around. It is inspired by the Goddess wire wrap bracelet tutorial that I have. Go ahead and check that out. It's a pretty cute design. So the first thing we're gonna do is make a knotted head pin. So you want to take one of your 6-inch pieces of wire and take your round nose or 6-step looping pliers. And if you're using round nose pliers, I recommend making a Sharpie mark on where you do your wraps at. That way your loops come out the same size. So I'm on the 6-step pliers, I'm using the smallest mandrel, and I'm grabbing the wire in between the two mandrels, and I'm just rolling the wire. I'm releasing my pliers and twisting to grab again. Now that pokey bit there, that needs to be top side, and you'll see why. I have found it's just easier to do it this way. So you want to make two coils, and your wire here should be in line with that pokey bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push it straight up, and then I'm going to pop this off, and this is what you have. Then what I'm doing is I'm kind of forming a bump, and then we're going to take this end and put it up through those coils. Now really pay attention. Make sure you have a nice bump here. because it really makes a difference when you go to tighten this wire wrapped knot. So this is where the nylon pliers come in, because you can use both hands. You got your chain nose pliers, and you're just gonna pull to tighten up that knot. And the reason I recommend the nylon tip pliers is so that you don't destroy your wire tightening your knot. So here you want the wire to be straight up and down in comparison to these coils. So we're going to do that exact same process to our other 6-inch piece of wire. So again, you're going to grab the end of the wire with your pliers and just roll the wire around that mandrel. Really make sure your pokey is top side, because it just makes it so much easier. And then make sure your wire is in line with your pokey. We're gonna bend the wire up, pop that off. And this is what you should have. And then create your curvature and put the end through those coils. I do want to make a note, you can totally do this with 22 gauge wire as well. It's probably, well, I know it's a lot easier, but I like to use 20 gauge. I'm just making sure my wire is straight coming through those coils. Then what you're gonna do is put your beads on your head pin in the way that you desire. So this is what we have. Now what we're gonna do is take one of our 10-inch, we're gonna move this ruler. We're gonna take one of our 10-inch pieces of wire and make sure it's nice and smooth. You can use the heat of your fingers to straighten it out, or your nylon tip pliers if you have them. We're gonna create a natural loop by meeting the two ends together and just kind of slide your hand down the wire, and it creates a center point. Then you're gonna crisscross, and it doesn't matter how you crisscross. Oh, we gotta backtrack, guys. We totally gotta backtrack. So before you put your beads on your head pin, okay, make your natural loop. The head pin is gonna go through this loop, and you're gonna get it really tight as if it's a coil, as if it's a wire wrapped coil. And you want the crossings side facing you. Then we're gonna put a bead on, right? So we have our bead on, and we're gonna take one side. Whatever side you start with is the side you should always start with. So I've grabbed the wire on the left side, and I'm making sure everything is flush down here at the bottom. And I'm following the edge and the curve of the bead with the wire. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this wire and I'm holding here. You want to hold the wire that's on the side of the bead, because we're gonna wrap on top of it. And if you're not holding it, it's gonna move on you, and you don't want that. So all you're doing is a half wrap around your head pin wire. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to go up the other side of the bead. Essentially, you're framing it. And I'm holding here so that the wire doesn't move on me when I go to make a nice tight wrap around the top of the bead. Then we're going to add another bead. Same thing. You want to start on the same side you started the first time. So in this case, it's the left wire. We're going to bring the wire up the side of the bead. You want to hold it in place and make that half wrap. Same with the other side. And when you're doing these, the wire is always laying across the same side. Always the front side. Then we're going to go ahead and add our third bead. Same as before. We're starting with the wire on the left, so we're going to take it up the side of the bead, and it's laying across the front. Hold your wire in place and make that half wrap. Same on the other side. Follow the curve of the bead, lay it across the front side at the top, and make that half wrap. See, we had plenty of wire. You could take this further. You could add more beads if you want. Now what we're going to do is we're going to end off these two wires. So I'm going to take my cutters and I'm going to flush cut right about here, and I'll show you guys. I left just enough wire to have that nicely secured around. And when you do this, you want to grab the circle with your flat pliers. It makes it so much easier when you're tidying up ends. Same with this wire. We're gonna do like an extra wrap. So if you look, it kind of creates another crisscross. So I'm taking this wire and I'm gonna make an extra wrap. And I'm gonna flush cut right about here. I'll show you guys. You can see the pokey bit there. And just take your flat pliers and finish coiling that pokey bit. So now it's all nice and tidy. And you can mess around with your knotted head pin, kind of get things centered. So we're gonna go ahead and do the other one, right? So head pin, grab your 10-inch piece of wire, meet your two ends together, slide your hand down the wire to find the center, crisscross the wires. It doesn't matter which way you crisscross them. You're creating a natural loop. And then we're going to take our head pin and put it up through that loop. And you want to just get it nice and tight around there. Squish it down to the bottom, and you want to be looking at this side, the crisscrossy side. The back side looks like a singular coil. Come on, camera. There we go. Then we're going to go ahead and add our bead. And since I started with the left side last time, I'm going to start with the right side. So I'm taking the wire on the right side, going up the side of the bead, laying the wire across the front on top of the bead, and doing that half wrap. Make sure everything's nice and straight. We're taking the wire on the left side, laying it across the front. Make sure you hold your wire here, that's really important. We've got our half wrap. You want to make sure you do that complete half wrap. We're going to add our second bead. Start with the same wire you started with before. For this piece, it's the right side, so I'm going up the side of the bead, laying the wire across the top. Hold your wire. Do your half wrap. Now, if you watch what I'm doing, I'm using my index finger for leverage and pulling with my hand on the wire to get that nice tight wrap. Then we're going to add our last bead. Again, got the wire on the right side, bringing it up. Hold your wire in place and do your half wrap. Same with the left side. Half wrap. Then you can kind of tidy things up, get the wire around the beads a little bit more, whoop, if you need to. Now, the wire on the left, we are going to flush cut right about there. Leave a little bit of a pokey for you to be able to tidy that around. And then the wire on the right, you're gonna make another half wrap and flush cut off that. Leave yourself a little bit of pokey to tidy up. So now we have 2 earring pieces. Now what we're going to do is our wrapped loop. So you want to, when you're doing wrapped loops, you really want to pay attention to the placement of where you put your 90-degree angle. If your pliers are tapered, do a Sharpie mark. So for example, say I have, let me grab a pair of tapered pliers right here. So say I'm doing a loop, right? The 90-degree angle is going to be shorter here than it will be here. You'll have a lot more area that you'll have to cover. So the earring is facing me, and I want my loop to be facing me. So I'm kind of holding my pliers pointing towards me, and I'm gonna take the wire. My pliers are set flush at the top of the piece. I'm taking my wire and I'm making just a 90-degree angle off to the left side, right? That's what we have right now. And keep in mind your placement of your pliers. Now, same with your round nose pliers, it works the same way. Your round nose pliers are tapered, so use a Sharpie mark if this is what you're using to make sure your earring loops are the same size. I love using these 6-step pliers, and I'm going to use the smallest size. And I have the mandrel size that I'm using on top of my 90-degree angle. So I'm taking the wire and I'm bringing it up and over all the way. Don't keep going, right? So we have this crookedness going on here. I took my pliers out so that I can put them back in, so I can keep making a full circle and center my circle like that. It doesn't matter how you get this result. There's like 30 different ways to do wrapped loops. As long as you are happy with the end result, that's what matters. Now, it really helps at this point right here, right underneath your loop, that you have a 90-degree angle, because you can grab the loop. You want to hold it, because if you don't, it will totally get distorted on you. I'm grabbing the wire and I'm wrapping it around, making sure each coil is nice and next to each other. I'm doing as many coils as I can fit. And then we are going to flush cut that off. And you want to tuck in that pokey. So we have one completed earring. Yay! Now with the other one, right? Same deal, except we're gonna make that 90-degree angle off to the right side. And you want, absolutely make sure your pliers are where they need to be so that the size of the wrapped loop kind of matches up with your other one. So I made my 90-degree angle. My pliers are on top of the 90-degree angle, the size that I'm using, because the wire is going up all the way over. All I'm doing here is releasing my grip and rotating my pliers so that I can keep making that circle and center my balloon. Now, same deal, hold your loop with your flat pliers. Make sure you have a 90-degree angle. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. We're gonna wrap as many as we can fit. And I'm going to flush cut here and kind of work this little piece into the coils here by grabbing the circle. Your loops should be roughly the same length. So then what we do is you take your ear wire, whether you have a loop or this type, all you're gonna do is lift it a little bit with your pliers. And we're gonna hook our earring piece on that. You know, that is totally okay. As long as you guys get the point of this, that's all that matters. Okay, so lift the loop. Close it back up. Wonder if I can get this ball off so that those will match. It's it's not totally necessary. No, okay. I'm gonna definitely, nope, I'm gonna do it right now. We need to find different ear wires. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh, here we go. We're gonna switch you out because you are a little flawed. All right. So we have two cute wire wrapped earrings. So fun. I hope you guys very much enjoyed this. For the month of April, I am focusing on more tutorials, and I am looking forward to hearing all of the feedback from you guys. Again, please check out my website. Check out all my pretties. I do have your basic pliers available on there. You got your chain nose, you got round nose, chain nose, needle nose, and cutters. Brand new in the package. All right, please subscribe if you loved this and you want to see more. Please like this video. It really will help me in the world of YouTube, and drop a comment. Thank you guys.